Hey YouTube, this is Robert Ness 816, and what I have here is that broken Genesis console that I showed you yesterday. So this was the VA2 console with the bad sound chip in it, or what I suspect to be a bad sound chip. It also has a bad video encoder, so I'm going to show you guys what it's doing and how it sounds. I have next to it here a perfectly working Genesis Model 1. Okay, so what I'm going to be playing for you guys is Sonic 2, since Sonic 2 has pretty much an iconic soundtrack to it. Also the colors, everything else, so you guys should really know what this game looks like. And then to test out the Z80 and the memory for the Z80, I'm going to be playing Double Dragon. So note, I'm not going to be using the FM sound with this cartridge, since testing that will actually not test the FM sound in a Genesis. It will actually basically play the FM soundtracks in this game through the built-in FM sound chip in this cartridge. So this cartridge actually has its own sound hardware built into it, and it's basically just kind of going into the Genesis, like bypassing it. So I will only be using the PSG sounds in Double Dragon, which will test out the VDP's PSG sounds, which I actually know works fine, and also it will test out the Z80 and the memory for the Z80. And for those who are not really familiar with the layout of a Sega Genesis, so what we have here is your VDP. So this is your video display processor, which also has a built-in PSG sound chip. This is your Z80. So this actually controls the Master System games when it's when a Genesis detects a Master System cartridge. This is your memory for the Z80. This is your YM2612. So basically, the Z80 controls this. It sends, or basically tells the 2612 what to do, and the memory basically feeds off of the Z80, and then the 2612 reads the signals, or the memory stored data from the memory in here. So it's kind of how that works. And then the video encoder is under this heatsink, so I showed you that before. And what we're going to do now is play Sonic 2 for a little bit. And hopefully this thing is still cold enough to where it'll kind of, I guess, play a game here with distorted sounds. I'm not really sure if that's in focus or not. I have no idea. The autofocus on this camera really sucks, so that's why I'm probably going to get a new one soon. But anyways, yeah, let's just go in on that, and we'll cut to me playing the game. Okay, so I'm going to plug in Sonic 2 here, and hopefully it's still all distorted and messed up. So that sounds good, right? There you go. Still messed up. Just had to adjust the focus here. So notice how the color yellow doesn't work? One thing I want you guys to take note of here is when I jump, you can hear how the jumping sounds fine and how the background melodies sound fine, and that's because when the Genesis actually plays music and sound effects, it actually kind of mixes or plays the FM and PSG sounds together to make music. So not all games are going to do this, but Sonic 2 is one that kind of uses the Genesis hardware to its I guess to its extent. So we'll continue on with the game. So again, jumping sounds fine, but everything else is crap. So when I go to do the spin dash, that sounds fine too. was a good enough demonstration there. So now I'm going to put in the Master System game, and I'm going to play Double Dragon for you guys. So the colors are still off too, as you can tell. And as you saw with Sonic, yellow wasn't working. It was getting displayed as gray instead, or white. So I actually played the arcade version of this not too long ago, and twice as hard as this. I'm not that good at this one though, but it's actually amazing how good the Master System, did as far as an arcade port of this game. Very accurate. But more on to the point of this, you can tell that the Z80 is working fine, and so is the memory chip for the Z80, since they're both giving me good results as far as gameplay goes. I'm not getting any glitches or anything else like that. And the flickering's normal with this game. That always happens with the Master System games for some reason. All my Genesis consoles do this. Alright, so anyways, you guys get the idea. So now I'm going to play Sonic on the good console, just for reference. Just have a listen to the music. So I don't know if you can hear it though, but the PSG sound is fairly similar. And obviously the colors look better because they're all working. So and now I'll show you guys which chips this console needs, or this one. So just bear with me one moment. Okay, so these are the two chips that this console needs. So the top one is your sound chip, and the bottom one is the Sony CXA1145, which is your video encoder. Both of these chips were actually removed from a dead console. So that's why it always pays, at least for me anyway, to keep this stuff around, because you never know when you'll need it. So in my case, I plan to sell this console, so I could probably get like 30 or 40 bucks for it. And basically make a little bit of change here. So as you can see, when I do extract these chips, I try to do it as cleanly as possible, because when I do so, I like to not have any issues when I put these chips back in when I go to reuse them. So that's really it. So one final thought before I end this video. There is an awful lot of hype going on here with the this particular Model 1. There really isn't any reason for it, because these consoles are not any better than their later counterparts. So everyone goes crazy whenever they hear the term non-TMSS or whatever. And all that is a simple security measure that Sega added into newer consoles. Also, people think that the sound on this console is superior to every other Model 1 out there, and the video quality is better. That's sort of not true. The reason being is that VA2, which is what this console is here, as you can see, so the VA2 up to VA 6.8, which is basically this console here. This is a VA 6 console. So 6.5 and 6.8 just pretty much removed the high definition graphics, but retained a very similar setup as far as inputs go. So all that those consoles did was simply omit the serial port in the back here, which was only used for a modem that was released in Europe. Other than that, it's basically identical to the VA6 console, which is what this is. So as far as a console that actually has the best sound and the best picture quality, it would actually be a VA6 to VA 6.8. Reason being is that they have an updated version of the CXA1145, and also the surrounding circuitry for that specific console, or these consoles I should say, is actually better. So with these consoles, you don't actually get any rainbow banding with them. You just get a nice, vibrant, sharp picture. These consoles here, people say that you can recap them, or do whatever you want to get rid of the rainbow banding, and it's not going to do anything. I've had these consoles in the past. I've had lots of them actually. It's just how they are. It's a characteristic of this specific board. There really isn't anything you can do about it unless you do, or unless you buy an RGB cable, which you can buy, and most flat screen TVs today support RGB. So you can go on eBay and search Model 1 RGB cable, and that'll pretty much give you slightly better looking picture quality without using an upscaler, but it will get rid of the rainbow banding, since you're bypassing the video encoder altogether. And then there's the thing with rarity. These consoles are rare. That term gets used and abused way too much in this hobby, and unfortunately I feel like most of the people in this hobby are a little bit gullible. They're easily manipulated and lied to, which is kind of funny when you think about it, because most of the people in this hobby are nerds, and I guess you assume that nerds are supposed to be smart, but nope. So anyways, these consoles here, non-TMSS Genesis consoles, are considered launch consoles. So basically, when the Genesis first came out, this is what Sega had to offer. And usually when a console launches, that is when they sell the most or the highest number of consoles. So that is what you have. So whenever you come across a Model 1 Genesis that says high definition graphics on it, I want to say 8 times out of 10 it's going to be either a VA2 or a VA3 revision if you're in North America. VA3 is actually the most common, and that is actually the better of the two consoles since it has a more balanced preamp setup. But the video still has slight rainbow banding, just like these VA2 consoles have. So there really isn't anything special about these consoles. They play a handful of non-licensed Sega games that are really nothing special in and of themselves. You'll likely put it on your shelf, the games I should say, and forget about them because they're, whatever, they're okay, but it's nothing special. Let's just put it that way. There is nothing special about these consoles. And then if you're into overclocking, people say that the Cynetics clone of the Motorola 68000 kind of sucks for overclocking. That's actually not true at all. So this CPU is just as good as the Motorola CPU. It can be overclocked just as high. The issue is that these boards actually can't take that much of an overclock, and the reason being is that this chip right here, this is your tie-in processor, it actually can't handle too much of an overclock. When compared with the newer boards, they actually have a revised tie-in chip which adds in the security feature. It also kind of mixes, or what's the word I'm looking for, like incorporates both of these chips into one large chip, and pretty much I guess they fix bugs along the way or whatever, but it basically makes for a better console if you're looking to modify one for overclocking. So these older consoles, I mean, hey, they're cool to have, if that loading screen, the licensed, by Sega or whatever screen really bugs you that much, then I guess find one or whatever. It really doesn't matter, but if you're someone that really likes getting the best picture and sound quality out of a Genesis console, then just pick up one of these. These are actually slightly less common, believe it or not, than the TMS or non-TMSS consoles, so that's pretty much how it is. I don't know how that whole thing started with the hype where non-TMSS consoles are rare or better or whatever when they're really not. So that's just my 2 cents, and I know I like to rant and ramble here, but it's just in this hobby there's so much fucking bullshit and stupidity that it's kind of funny when you think about it, and it's I don't know, it's funny when people get fooled way too easily on things. So anyways, yeah, I'll make an update video when I do fix this console, or if I do. So if I do, then I'll make another video of it, and that's it. So until next time, guys, thanks for watching.